And we are live. Good morning, everyone. This is Patrick Lee. It's time for Midweek Motivation Live. I hope every one of you are doing well today. As we get into this show, we're going to be talking about the difference between being self-serving and getting occupied or caught up in the service of others. How is that going to help us as a person? Is that something that we should do? Adjust the camera and microphone here a little bit better so you can see me better. And we're going to be back right after this. See you real soon. Welcome back. I am so glad you're here with me today as we dive into this next show here on Midweek Motivation Live. I appreciate all of you guys coming back to watch me each and every week. You have no idea what it means to me. I'm happy to be back in town. I was traveling out of town down to Austin this past weekend, teaching at a conference down there. It was a wonderful event, wonderful time. I was healed, ministered to, and so encouraged and uplifted in my life, my business, and my faith while I was gone. And I am so glad to be able to bring this to you today as well. We're going to be talking about getting out of your own way. Many of us that watch the show today may not know what I'm talking about, getting out of your own way. But so many of us are, it's not a twist, it's not a tricky title. So many of us are so busy taking care of the day-to-day, the things that we are grinding on, that we're destined for purpose, we're destined to success, we're destined to live out a plan. But we are so busy doing the things that we are caught up in that we can't see the bigger picture. We're so busy living life. We're so busy taking care of business that we can't focus on others. We can't get outside of ourselves. And it's very, we're so focused on our inner person, the things that we're doing, the things that matter to us and those, my immediate family, my wife, my kids, that we can't learn to focus on others. And I want to talk to you about that today. Are you in your own way? I believe that God, your sphere of influence, all of those around you believe the best in you and want you to have a successful life, want you to get caught up in the service of others. And many of you are, and I love that about you. That's probably why you're in my circle, my sphere of influence. But there are many of you watching today that would say that you're probably not, that you are caught up in living your life, doing the things that matter the most to you, and you just don't have time to do work in the service of others. But this destiny that you have been called to, the greatness that you are here to live for, is calling your name. There are things, ideas that have been given to you, business plans that have been given to you, relationships that you need to build, grow, and develop, new people that are going to be brought into your life. But you're so busy caught up in your own way, you can't see the bigger picture. You can't see a way out of what you're already doing. You know what I mean? You can't see how busy you already are in the things that you are doing. You're caught up in your own way. It's hard to see past that. And you would tell yourself, these are the things that I feel like I need to do. I can't get out of the grind. I'm in this rut of, if I don't do the work, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I'm not going to be able to feed my family. I'm not going to be able to really have an influence on this life if I don't do the things that I'm doing right now. But I would challenge that mindset and ask you to start opening your mind to the concept that there are areas where you can get caught up in the service of others. You can incorporate the service of others into your day-to-day calendar, into your schedule, into the things that it is that you do. Thank you. The viewership already going up, people liking and loving the show. I love that. If you're watching, of course, on Facebook, we go live every week on Facebook and LinkedIn simultaneously. And then this is broadcast and uploaded to YouTube after the show, and then it goes out to all of your major podcast platforms afterwards. So wherever you are watching the show, if you can like, love, and share the show, please do. If you can subscribe to the channel, you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, click the notifications bell, and at the end of the show, we will have a call to go to the link at scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and it will go into the comments below the show as well, www.patricklee.work. You can find out ways to get a hold of me, get involved with me, potentially talk with me, get a call scheduled with me. I'd love to help you. I had multiple calls scheduled this last weekend, actually, and made some calls with some people from the airport and from other places where I were, to get involved with them, help them in some areas in their life as well. I appreciate that. Go to www.patricklee.work, and we'll share that again at the end of the show. But is service to others something that can be learned? Yes, I believe that it is. Is it something that comes naturally to everybody? Not necessarily, no. But can it be learned? Many things people say in life, many people would say so-and-so was a born salesman. They could sell ice to an Eskimo. How many of you have ever heard someone say that? Maybe you have been the person that said that. They could sell ice to an Eskimo. They're such a good salesman, they could cause someone to pull out their natural teeth just to buy a brand new set of shiny dentures. So there are a lot of people that have been told they're a natural born salesperson. Some people are a natural born talker, right? You're just, man, that person is a talker. People have said that about me. Many people don't realize that growing up, I've shared some of this on the show. I was a very shy kid, fourth of five kids. I was the smallest one, the runt of the litter, very small, was not incredibly athletic as a young kid. We were poor. So speaking was not something I was naturally adept at. It was not something I took naturally to. As I got a little older and developed a circle of friends in high school, then I turned into a very, very, very conceited and arrogant person because I learned to speak, and then I would overspeak. And that's something I had to get under control. And it wasn't until a few years after school that I got into this self-help space, this learning space, this quest for knowledge space, and wanted to learn how to increase my ability to speak more effectively, how to serve others, how to lead, help, and grow, and then started learning to teach that to other people. But I was not always a good speaker. I was not always a good servant. Cody says Eskimos need ice for igloos. Selling them ice should be easy. You're right, Cody. When it comes to selling pizza, wine, and wings, I don't think there's anyone better than Cody. Cody upsells every client every time. That's the secret to his success. What is the add-on? How can I upgrade this sell? How can I upgrade this experience? I was talking with another business friend yesterday in a counseling little brainstorming session, and we talked about this man's particular business, and I told him at the point of his business and some of the challenges he was facing. And we learned about how many sales he had recently made in his line of work, and what did he do in the time that he was not making a sell. And he actually has multiple items that he can upsell with every purchase that is made, that he's not focusing on either. And I let this person know that one of the concepts I have learned, if you are not actively plying your trade or not actively selling your product, actively making money in your business at that time is to be spent marketing in your business to achieve more business. And that was a concept that was he kind of knew when he came to the meeting that was an area that he was lacking in, but he needed me to tell him, if you are not selling your product, 100% of the rest of your time is marketing your product. If you have a thing to sell and you don't let anyone know that you're there, that you're available, the things that you have available, you can't expect them to read your mind and pick up the phone and call you to come and do business with you. You have to market yourself. You have to put yourself out there. And that was actually a pretty simple meeting. And when that meeting was over, I got a message later that said, "Thank you for the tough love. I really needed someone to come back and encourage me and give me the kick in the butt to let me know I need to be doing the things I needed to do." Pastor Frank says, natural born abilities, God-given spiritual gifting, and skills developed. It's all important and needs attention. Amen, my brother. It certainly is. And so many of us get in this habit of only serving ourselves. It's a tough world. I'm not discounting that at all. Is it a tough world? Sure it is. Focus, though, is everything. The way you perceive everything around you going on in your life has a whole lot to do with how you're going to serve others in life. Doug, good morning. Pete, good morning. A lot of people watching the show today. I love that. So can you learn to serve others? Absolutely. Every service is not something that everyone is naturally born with. Many girls are taught this from a young age. They used to be. They're not taught as much as they were in today's day and age with the onset of the women's liberation movement in the 70s. Culture changed. Schools changed. Our family unit has changed. When women started entering the marketplace at a large rate, we have now found that in order for people to just get by, both spouses need to work. And if you want to have a lifestyle to where your wife does not work, you need to be out grinding, making enough money to provide for the entire family unit so you can have a wife that does come home and become the domestic engineer, which is a true job in and of itself. When someone is cleaning, doing laundry, cooking, all of those things, managing a household, taxi for the children, counselor, and confidant for the husband, that's a full-time job. But with that onset of this liberation movement, girls are no longer taught service to others. It used to be that young children were taught, the girls were taught service to a future spouse, how to pay attention to the opposite sex, because it's going to be needed in the future for you to develop a relationship with a good man. You're going to need to learn how to serve that person. And then the young boys were taught courtesy, consideration, proper manners, to say yes ma'am, no ma'am, open a door for a lady, open the car door for a lady, treat that lady like the lady that she is. Treat her well in service to her, and in turn, she will serve you with a good heart, right? The Bible says that women are to submit to their husbands. But before that, it says men, more importantly than that, I should say, it says men, love your wives like Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. So I tell women all of the time that tell me their husband says, I need to serve him. I need to serve him. And it's like, well, service, number one, has not been taught the way it was when the girls were growing up. And because of that cultural thing, girls are much more independent. But boys still have this male mentality of, I need someone to help me and serve me. God didn't give Eve to Adam in the garden because he needed a servant. He needed a helper, someone to come in alongside of him. So the unit, those two people, Adam and Eve, could be in agreement. So they could be in agreement and work together and carry each other's burdens as they go down towards their goal in life. You need a helper, not a servant. But the greatest among you is going to be servant to all, right? So if you're completely self-serving, you are not serving others. You are not operating in, I think, the fullness of life. And you, in turn, will not be fulfilled because of it. What are some good ways to serve others? How do we serve others? Is this a slave-master relationship? Absolutely not. Is one person subservient to the other? That depends on the relationship. And is it a job? Is it a relationship? Is it husband, wife, spiritual? what is that relationship? But what are some good ways to serve others? If you find that you are caught up in yourself and you are in your own way and you cannot see big picture, you're so busy only focusing on you. What are some good ways to serve others? One of the best ways I have found, the easiest way for me to serve others, is an old saying that I developed through listening to a lot of other people. And one of the things that I like to say, and I call it a Patrickism, is never pass up a good opportunity to shut your mouth. And I have found that by simply not talking and listening, I have the opportunity to learn. We have gates into our spirit. I shared this some this weekend. Two of the biggest gates into our spirit are our ears. And many times you are so busy speaking, the things that you are speaking in service to yourself continue to go out of your own mouth into your two ears. And they continue to this pattern of serving yourself, this pattern of only focusing on me and the things that are immediately important to me and my immediate circle. But one of the easiest, best ways to start serving others is simply to talk less and listen more. Give another person an opportunity to share their ideas, their thoughts, their feelings with you, and then validate those. And when you validate those, you give that person some of your power through the validation of their thoughts and ideas, and that lifts that person up. Can you see how that just started? You just felt that when I said that. You allow that other person to feel important, that the things that they have to say, their ideas are important. You served that person by making them larger. Man, yeah. Some of you just felt that right there. You just felt that. Validation of others. Is there another way that we can serve others? That's simply the beginning. The common courtesy ideas should go without saying. Men, open a door for a lady. Say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yes, sir, no, sir. Have respect. One of my good friends is the most respectful person I know. His name is Ty Garrett, and he is a master of Taekwondo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at Extreme Martial Arts. He's actually going to be fighting for a world championship here coming up very currently in the near future. And he's been a friend and a client. Love the guy. My daughter trained for years in his gym. Erica, that works for me here, she trained with Master Ty. Master Ty taught her self-confidence, self-control, learning to speak when spoken to, and not to just ramble on and jabber unnecessarily. He gave her focus and drive and self-confidence. And one of the things I learned from him and immediately caught from Master Ty Garrett is his amount of respect and courtesy for others. It's always yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And also the correcting way he can talk to these younger people and say, we are going to treat everyone with respect. At our church, we have a saying, it's honor up, honor down, honor all around. And that's one of the things that we should always strive to exemplify with other people, to show. But we can also serve others. We can serve others with our time in conversation, with our giving, with our service to others. Many of you that are the most fulfilled are the ones that are the most caught up in service to other organizations that benefit people less fortunate than we are. I have had the honor to be involved in multiple events in the past. Many of you watching the show get involved in nonprofits. You get involved in fundraisers. Some of you are so kind that you just go out and buy food and you hand it out the window to a homeless person on the corner and just say, here. And they're like, what's that? And you're like, hey, here, it's food. I just stopped and I bought you something to eat. Or you give them $5, or you give them a bottle of cold water on the street. Say, I don't have any money with me. Here's a bottle of water. Be refreshed. You're the people that go around and you hand out blankets to people in the cold. Maybe you go down to the homeless shelters and donate clothes. whatever it is, you're the kind of hearted person that goes out and gets involved in the service of others. Um, the thankfulness that we have for the things that we have achieved and been able to do in life is a direct result, or as a direct um, marker of our calling to go out and help other people. There are multiple ways that you can get involved in the service of others, starting, like I said, all the way back with simply listening and validating other people's conversations and points of view and their ideas. But it goes all the way up through rolling up your sleeves and getting involved in the trenches, helping other people live a better life. Is that fulfilling? Absolutely. Is it something that we should do? Absolutely. But moving on from that, past that, is it important or healthy to only serve others? No, because now we get to the balance point of this. I know some of you that are so caught up in the service of others that your own personal life and relationships can get to the point that it suffers. And I want to not lead you away from that, but I do want to caution you in that. So some people get so caught up in the service of others that they neglect those that are closest to them, namely your spouse, your significant other, or your children. And that is a dangerous position to put yourself in. I want to say this properly without offending anybody, because it's never my intent to offend. But as a friend, there are times that we do speak to others in a little bit of tough love. But we have been caught up in service at our church. I know in the past, at one time, my wife and I counted, and we were serving on or leading 8 ministries at one time. None of that was healthy. You will get into the point to where you are so busy serving other people that your personal relationships can suffer. You don't have time to serve everybody and not take any time to take care of you. And I know that my father was one of them. My mother helped balance him out. And I learned this about myself this weekend, and came to grips with a lot of hard things that I needed to express or come to grips with in my mind and my heart about my relationship with my father. And these things were very healing, very much an awareness issue that I probably had and never articulated, but it was very good for me. My relationship with my dad was great, but we weren't incredibly close because I lived in Texas for 40 years away from my father. My father didn't like to talk on the phone, and I'm not a person that just gets on the phone to call family and friends all the time. Most of you know that. I usually answer my phone most of the time because I want to be available for friends, family, and business. I want to be known as the realtor that actually answers his phone, and because there are a lot that do not. They're hard to get a hold of. And I'm like, you're trying to do business here and we can't reach you to do business. But my dad was not one to just pick up the phone and call me, tell me he's proud of me, he loves me, encourage me. That just wasn't my dad's style. It's one of those deals. We always knew we loved each other and we're good. Me and my dad are good. Many of you have a great relationship with your dad. You go hunting, you go fishing, your dad pours into your life, lifts you up, corrects you when you're wrong. But at 20 years of age, I had to learn how to become my dad for myself, living in Texas alone, and learning how to be a man on my own, learning how to gather mentors into my life from other areas and seek out wise counsel from other people to help me become the man that I needed to become. And that doesn't slight or diminish the fact that I had an amazing dad. It was just the relationship that we had. So my dad was very caught up in the service of others. We had women that lived across the street that may be a single mom, or ladies that dad worked with. And dad would go mow their lawn. Dad would wash their cars. Dad would go change the oil on their vehicle to help someone out anyone in the church that needed help, we would be there growing up. We would go work in their lawn. We'd work on their car. We would help people move. Always had a truck, always giving away vehicles. Dad would fix up a car and he would give it away, or he would get a good deal on an old car and fix it up. He'd sell it and make a little bit of money, and he would always give that money to someone else that was in need, maybe a friend or a family member, but certainly someone in the community. He would sell it to them at a discount to give them a deal. That was a great thing. My Uncle Bob did that. My Uncle Jerry used to buy cars for people from time to time and just give them a car because people needed a car. And that was a ministry in their life that was fulfilling to them, but it was done many times as a selfless gift. But to us and the closest circle, we felt from time to time that Dad would give so much of his time to the church and to the service of others that we would be neglected. It wasn't something that I realized was a problem with me until it started becoming a problem in my own life. And my wife used to have to learn to balance me out as well, because it's my nature to get involved in the over-serving of others. And it took 3 or 4 mentors in a row in my life within the last 5 to 7 years to teach me the liberation of the word no. Is it healthy to only serve others? No, it's not. There is power in the word no. There is freedom in the word no. Mary says, yes, you have all helped me move my home. Yes, you all are great. You are so sweet, Mary. You share in the show every week. I love you. Such a sweet lady. It's a pleasure to get involved in the service of others, especially when they reciprocate with such kindness. Mary, we love you. Thank you for that comment. But is it healthy to only serve others? I don't believe so. There is time that service, and I'm not twisting this, but service in your family, your immediate family, your spouse and your children is service to you and service to others, because they're the closest to you. So you can't only serve people. There is a place where you need to serve yourself. How would I say this best? I'm going to go into this. Self-appreciation and healing are different from being self-serving. This is probably the best way I can get into this. There are times, moments in your life that for the betterment of your spirit, the betterment of your future, you have got to be a great version of you. You have got to learn to appreciate yourself for the things that you do for others, the benefit that you give to others, and thank the good Lord that you have the ability and the willingness to do that. That someone was brought into your life to help teach you how to be more serving of others, that you have the ability to learn, to grow, to get your heart into your head. And this is something I've learned to start sharing with people. I have heard for generations from many different speakers that everything that you need, you already possess in you. It's in your heart. You may not know it. You may have suppressed it, but everything that you need to thrive and succeed was already given to us by God, our Creator. It's already in us. We possess it. We hold it. It's in us. It's in our being. It's in our DNA to be a servant to others. His word says it all throughout the Holy Bible, that those who are the greatest among you will be a servant of all. The most successful civilizations are the civilizations that express love, caring, kindness, appreciation, and service of others. Those are the most successful. It's a pattern. It's in us. Everything that you need to succeed is in you, but you have to get the crazy thoughts in your head out of the way, and you have to learn how to get your inner being in your heart of hearts, your inner man. You have to learn how to get the heart into your head so you can focus on helping others, focus on getting yourself out of the way. But part of that comes with healing up who you are. You hold all of those things inside, and you allow hurt, pain, injury from others in the past, life itself, things, the weights and the burdens of this life that get you down. They hurt you, they break you, they compress you, they compact you, almost like a car crusher can smash this large car into this little cube of metal. Inside, some of you are kind of like that. Here's a funny analogy that's odd, but it's something that was put into my mind's eye a long time ago. When you squash the paper off a straw to open your straw, how many of you have ever done this? You'll squish that paper up off that straw all the way down like an accordion. And if you lay it on your the table there in the restaurant, and you'll take your straw and you'll put one drop of water on your straw down on that paper, you can watch that paper then start to grow back out, and it stretches back out into its own shape, right? All those bends and wrinkles and folds start to express or move themselves back out. If you put one drop of water on a dry sponge, what does it do? That sponge that is shrunken and hard and dry starts to grow to the amount of the moisture that is added to it. And within a very short time, a small amount of water can make this little small dry sponge completely grow and expand into what it was created to do. And as humans, I believe that we are the same. We need drops of self-healing, self-appreciation, self-care. Sometimes that's counseling. Sometimes it's just mentorship. Sometimes it's just hanging out with your best buddies, your top 5, masterminding, sitting around drinking Nespresso. I may have to get me a Nespresso machine. I found a new love for that this weekend. But you start watering that dry sponge. You start watering that crumpled up piece of paper, and you start to grow, to expand, and become the soft, pliable, giving, working creation that God created you to be. I hope this is making sense to somebody. So you need the thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Terry, thank you also. You're a blessing to all of those who call you friend. You, my friend, are a blessing, and I appreciate that as well. So I have learned to appreciate who I am. I have learning to heal up my inner man and get those thoughts into my head so I can focus on the service of others. The service of others comes financially as well. And if I am broken or suppressed and not able to focus beyond myself, then I'm not able to go out and do the job that God has created me to do, to seek out the abundance that God has for my life, because from that abundance, I have the ability to go out and actually serve others. The resources that we have, hold, and possess in abundance are not just here for you. They're here for us to help others with. Cuban coffee, Patrick Lee, you know that's the true coffee. I've had Cuban coffee, Pete, and it is very good, very strong, very dark coffee that I love. Is it the best? I don't know, brother. The jury is still out on that. Guys, that's where we're going to end it today. I appreciate this. Get outside of yourself. Get out of your own way. Learn to help others. Learn to get caught up in the service of others. Continue to get healed up, of course. Get healed up in yourself, because your best self is what is needed to go out and have an effect in the world that we see today. It doesn't seem to be getting better. It seems to be getting worse. But each of us can go out there and make it a little bit better for those that we have influence over. Okay? And finally, be aware and thankful for the opportunities that will arise to help others. As you get healed up, as you learn to get outside of yourself, opportunities for service will automatically arise in your life. Remember, bonus tip, it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. Let's go out and give to the others. Courage begins at the end of your comfort zone. Everybody go out and get uncomfortable today. We say in real estate, you have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So go be courageous. Get outside of your comfort zone today. Get a little uncomfortable in service of others. Until next time, This has been Patrick Lee with Midweek Motivation Live. Thank you so much for watching the show, coming back week after week. Like, love, and share the show. If you would like to reach out to me, you're interested in buying a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate, this is my self-serving moment. Click on the link to my digital business card in the comments below this video. Get an appointment in my calendar. I would love to talk to you about how we can help you either in business or in life. Until next time, bye-bye.